I hope the world makes life harder for you and your families, so you can finally walk in our shoes. I hope you lose your visas. I hope you get denied your bank transfers. Because for once, I want you to feel what it's like to suffer for something you actually did. Yes, I am enraged. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Another day, another real talk about the Philippines, because that's what I do. I talk about anything and everything under the sun when it comes to this country, and I talk nothing but reality. And today I just want to bring something to your attention. A lot of you watching this are either planning to visit or move to the Philippines, and I think it's important you understand the scale of corruption here and how it spills over even internationally. Because the corruption in the Philippines doesn't just affect people living here, it affects us outside the country too. And maybe it could also affect you if proven you live here. I'm not sure, but it's worth hearing about this. It's gotten to a point where I honestly feel embarrassed to carry a Filipino passport. A few days ago, I learned something about how Filipino travelers are being treated abroad, and I know this might not mean much to most of you, but it's worth hearing or talking about this, like I said. So I'm going to start from this. The former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte is currently under investigation by the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands, for alleged crimes against humanity related to mass killings during his war on drugs. Even if the Philippines has withdrawn from the International Criminal Court in 2018. And by the way, for your information, it was him, the former President Duterte, who withdrew the Philippines from the International Criminal Court. I wonder why. Another recent figure facing justice at the ICC is Ali Abdel Rahman, a militia leader from Sudan, indicted for war crimes and war against humanity. So to give you context, the Philippines is now being mentioned in the same breath as countries like Sudan, one of the most corrupt nations in Africa, which, by the way, many Filipinos tend to look down on. So what I mean is that's the kind of company we keep on global stage now. Not trying to offend anyone, but you know what I mean. That's just one of the most disgusting truths about where the Philippines is going, the direction of the Philippines. And right now, there's at least one country I know that's already starting to treat Filipinos unfairly. The damage isn't just internal, it's hurting how the world sees us. Honestly, I've started to feel really embarrassed holding a Filipino passport. Good thing I can't afford to travel internationally right now. So I guess that's one less humiliation to deal with. So a lot of people love to say, well, there's corruption everywhere, lady. And sure, we all know that. I know that. No country is perfect. But ask yourself this. Is the corruption in your country so bad that it follows you outside your borders? Does it affect your ability to travel, to do simple things like exchange money at the airport? Because that's exactly what happened to some Filipino travelers traveling to Norway. Yes, Norway, one of the most developed, most progressive countries in the world. And yet they've apparently put policies in place that refuses service to Filipino travelers. This is not a rumor, because multiple Filipinos have experienced this firsthand. Being told that due to corruption and money laundering in the Philippines, they cannot exchange their money. Now, I don't know if this is happening in other countries as well, but it's definitely happening in Norway, and it kind of, it's embarrassing. I can't, I can't imagine if it was me in their situation. What would I say? Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Like, I don't know how to react to that in front of your face. Like, why? I went to traveling I went out of the country because I'm tired of this corruption thing. And then that thing follows you even outside your country. So imagine when your passport becomes a red flag. What happens when your passport becomes a red flag or your country of residence becomes a red flag? Not because you did anything wrong, but because your government did. Well, that's exactly what happened at Oslo Airport in Norway, because once again, it's not the corrupt elites who get punished. It's It's the ordinary Filipino. So this is what happened. A Filipino traveler arrived at Oslo Gardermoen Airport. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, and tried to exchange around $300 at the forex counter. Yes, USD to Norwegian krone, not PHP to Norwegian krone. But when the staff saw that they come from the Philippines, the staff asked them first if they live or like they're resident of the Philippines, then proceeds on refusing them the service. Why? Because we don't exchange money from Philippines. Too much corruption and money laundering. They just flat out refuse because of the country on the passport or the country where they came from. And after this incident was shared online, dozens of other Filipinos came forward. Same airport, same experience, same treatment. But here's what makes this even more frustrating. The Philippines was officially removed from the FATF gray list back in February 2025. So for context, the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, is a global organization that monitors countries for money laundering and terrorism financing. So the Philippines had been on that list since 2021 during the past administration. So during the previous administration, we were flagged for issues like casino money, like, the Pogo, casino money laundering, the Chinese Pogos, right? Terrorism financing, like the extrajudicial killing, poor regulation, all the usual red flags. But in early 2025, we were finally taken off the list. The government even celebrated, saying this would improve cross-border finance and remove the high-risk label. So why are we still being treated like that then? Well, maybe the answer is uncomfortable but real. Removing the Philippines from the gray list was premature, or maybe even a mistake, because just months after we were taken off, these massive corruption scandals exploded across the country. Billions lost, trillions in total. Fake deals, politicians implicated, investigations left and right. So if FATF gave us a pass in February, the world clearly does not believe we've changed. And honestly, neither do I. To be honest, I feel disgusted, not because Oslo refused to exchange money, but because corrupt politicians thought they could get away with this forever. But anyway, even if they're exposed, they will still get away with it. No? They got so used to stealing, hiding, covering things up, they forgot something simple. When the rain comes, the mud shows. And is what exactly happening now. The continuous rain exposed these scandals. So after the Duterte crimes and corruption scandal, this came out. How did the rain do that? Well, if it rains, it pours. Flash floods and landslides left and right everywhere, casualties. 421 ghost flood control projects, 300 ghost super health centers, 22 out of 1,700 classrooms completed 2025 alone. That is only 22 out of 1,700. Evidences shouting right in front of their faces, our faces. It is one of the greatest recent acts of national, economic, and moral sabotage in the Philippines. And what do they do? Untelevised hearings, if there are any. Jailed? No, no one. Even if all the evidences are right in front of their faces, no one's going to jail. And even if they get jailed, they're still free. I don't know how do they do that. And they can even run for public office, even they're in a jail. And people vote for them again. That is the most amazing part there. I'm starting to believe the saying, we deserve what we tolerate. So our current president checked all these finished projects across the country because he's wondering why there are so many casualties here and there, so many landslide reports, why there are so many floods. What happened to the flood control projects that got trillions of funds, billions of funds? Okay, let me go check, and there you go. He saw that there was nothing built from the trillions, from the billions of pesos. Then he proceeds on exposing those contractors. then it's like a trickle-down effect. Those contractors started revealing politicians' names who are getting kickbacks from those projects. So I think the president knows who are those names behind those corruptions, but because he's probably scared to confront them because of, our saving face culture, he exposed the contractors instead. Because for sure, those contractors are gonna talk and expose those crocodiles anyway. And it appeared that they just literally divide the funds among themselves until nothing is left to actually build a project. How disgusting! These scandals, these exposés, these resignations and investigations, they're just hidden. And now we all pay for it. I don't blame Oslo entirely. They're protecting their system. They see the news, the scandals, the lack of prosecution, and they act accordingly. But it's infuriating that it's us, not them, not these nasty politicians, and not their family who get punished. What really gets me is the people suffering are not their political families, not their kids. Not their kids studying abroad. We, ordinary people, go abroad with clean money, honest intentions, and we're treated like suspects because of a government that I did not vote for, by the way. This is how corruption follows you. Even if you leave the country, it sticks to your name, your bank account, your passport. And the worst part, some of these politicians who caused this are already gone. They saw what was coming and they ran. They left the country quietly, no charges, no consequences. That's why I'll say this clearly. I wish all the first world countries would do what Norway did, but only to the corrupt politicians. I don't know how will they do it. Maybe require an ID, maybe have an international database of corrupt people. I don't care. I just wish other countries could help hold them accountable because clearly we can't do it ourselves. Let them feel what we feel. Let them be blocked at airports. Let them be denied entry. Let them get rejected at every counter. Every bank, every visa counter, every immigration office. Make life hard for them. I don't care, however. Because right now, they enjoy the money they stole. Living freely abroad, their families are having like $14,000 dinner in a fancy hotels just for one dinner, and brag about it on their social media. What a slap to our faces. And yes, corruption exists everywhere. Yes, I know that. But here in the Philippines, it's true. It's petty but massive at the same time. It's huge. It's in every level, from the smallest government office or project to the biggest national project or office. And it keeps repeating like is it part of our DNA? Something, I don't know, like sometimes I catch myself thinking, is this in our blood? Since the 1970s? Because people here are just so easy to corrupt. Honestly, you can even take advantage of the corruption. I'm not suggesting you do that, but it's sad to admit. But yeah, you can do that. One small envelope, one small favor, one shortcut, and suddenly everything becomes negotiable. And then I start to think, if I were in their position, if I had that kind of access to power and money, would I be tempted to? What do you guys think? Makes me wonder. Would my eyes light up at the sight of easy millions or billions? It's so easy to judge these politicians, to call them thieves and monsters, until you start to wonder, like me, because I feel like, is it in our DNA? Is it in our genes? What if it was me who's sitting in that chair? Would I really be different in front of billions? There are receipts, pictures of these crocodiles and their bagmen, as they call them, deliver the money to these corrupts in cash, lay it all on the table, and divide it there. Count it there, divide it among themselves, with other crocodiles. And just when you thought it couldn't get more embarrassing, South Korea recently canceled a $503 million loan to the Philippines, citing corruption concerns. So the loan was meant for infrastructure, roads, bridges, public projects. But I don't trust the government even a bit anymore. To be honest, they're just going to put that in their pockets. Nothing's gonna be built or maybe they will build a substandard one. Just like the bridge in northern Philippines, it collapsed only 27 days after it opened. After years of construction, it lasted less than a month. And the cause? They say overloading from a single truck. Just one truck. These are the kinds of projects they are building. So the President Lee Jae-myung's administration said the deal was flawed and vulnerable to corruption, while our own Department of Finance said that there was no signed agreement. But come on, we all know that's just damage control. The point is they backed out because they don't trust us. Another country, another lost opportunity, all because of same issues. So what does it mean? It means the world is watching. It means countries are making decisions based on our track record, not our statement. It means Filipino travelers will continue to face this kind of embarrassment, humiliation until real change happens. The Oslo airport incident is just a symptom. The South Korea loan cancellation is just another warning sign. How many more do we need? But here's the bottom line. I know we can't fix corruption overnight, but we also can't keep pretending it doesn't affect us. Come on, Filipinos. Let's not pretend it's normal because it's not normal. Stop pretending that everything is perfect. So to my fellow Filipino citizens, we need to stop voting for thieves, please. Can we stop tolerating excuses from these corrupts? Do you guys know the saying? Like I said earlier, we deserve what we tolerate. If we keep electing the same corrupt leaders, staying silent, bashing the people who bashes the corrupt. A lot of people are bashing me when I bash the corrupt. Filipinos. And pretending it's normal for politicians to steal our money, then we can't complain when nothing changes. We can complain if life is still hard for us. Because most Pinoys say, oh, it's normal. Like, they just develop learned helplessness probably. So we need to protect our image by fixing the system that ruined it. Can we stop voting for crocodiles, please? It's easy to spot them. Just use a little this and common sense. This is our future. Wake up. Don't be a fanatic. Don't idolize these politicians. Of all people, you idolize these corrupt people, these murderers. Some of these corrupts are assassinating those people who could expose them. And to the politicians who caused this mess, I hope the world makes life harder for you and your families, so you can finally walk in our shoes. I hope you lose your visas. I hope you get denied your bank transfers. Because for once, I want you to feel what it's like to suffer for something you actually did. Yes, I am enraged.